You're live with BBC News with me, Lucy Gray. Now, a forceful Joe Biden has delivered his last State of the Union address before November's election. In a sometimes fiery speech, he warned that the US is facing a greater threat to its freedom and democracy than at any time since the presidency of Abraham Lincoln in the 1860s. Well, let's talk it through now with US Democrat strategist and lawyer Kelly Hyman. Hello to you, Kelly. There's been a lot of chat beforehand, hadn't they, about whether he would, his delivery would prove that he was, up to the job for the next 4 years. Did he show that he was?
On a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 12. He definitely showed that he is ready. They were even chanting 4 more years for him. And the overriding theme was freedom and democracy, not only in the U.S., but abroad. Freedom in the U.S. for reproductive rights. In the U.S., United States Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, which gave women a right to choose what they wanted to do to abort a child or not. A majority of Americans support Roe v. Wade, and so that is a key issue for coming into 2024, besides other key issues.
What about, should we talk about foreign policy for a moment? Because as Nomia was just saying in her piece there's a lot of anger about the way that he's handled what's going on in Gaza and his seeming inability to get Israel to do his bidding. In terms of normally, how much does foreign policy play on voters' minds when they go to the ballot box?
It'll vary depending on what's going on in the U.S. at that time, but absolutely, definitely plays a key role. But not only did he address that, but he also addressed issues with making sure that wealthy corporations pay their fair share. And the fact that that is really important to hardworking Americans and making sure that they have homes and paying for their mortgage and making sure that Social Security is not cut. A gamut of different issues that he discussed in this over 60 minutes of his speech.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard my previous guest who was saying that this maritime corridor that Biden has announced is basically an admission that he hasn't been able to persuade Israel to act in a different manner in terms of what it's doing in Gaza. Do you refute that?
Well, as he said, he doesn't work for the Biden administration, so he doesn't know exactly what's going on behind closed doors, so to speak, or with discussions.
Well, there's certainly people who would like him to be pushing Israel more and using the leverage that the U.S. has more, aren't there?
Well, I'm not in those, discussions as well. We definitely want peace in the Middle East. That's very important to all of us. When we think about this, not only the U.S., we think about our allies, and we think of how we all are all in this together in regards to our making sure about the climate and all these other issues that affect us. And the fact that there is humanitarian efforts is important as well. Biden at times does not get credit for the things that he's done and continues to do. We have to look at the economy in the U.S. and how great it is in regards to the unemployment rate and the jobs. I mean, these are key things that he's doing, not only affecting the U.S., but also as broad as how he wants to get aid to the Ukraine and all these things that he's doing. He had someone there from Sweden that was just now in NATO, which is great, which is our allies.
I suppose the question with the economy, he called it the envy of the world, didn't he? I suppose the issue with that is whether people actually feel that they're better off, isn't it? That's the issue, whether you can talk about new jobs, but it's whether people actually feel like they've got any money to spend, isn't it? That's the problem with inflation.
Well, we can agree to disagree that we are in a lot better position than his predecessor was in the U.S. We have his predecessor that's been indicted on over 60 counts, and where we were in regards to the economy and how he lowered.
I'm so sorry, but we're totally out of time. Sorry. Thank you so much, though, Kelly, for joining us. Appreciate it. Kelly Hyman there. Do stay with us.